This is the Amp Hour Podcast, recorded February 25th, 2015. Episode 238, Iterant, Inscription, Irrationality.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
Woo! Coming in hot and loud from an Airbnb.
Yeah. Like they translate well. It transmits well from here. You know, got the big antenna on the roof. It's airwave B&B. Antenna B&B.
So you're in downtown San Fran or something?
I am in the Mission district right now, so kind of like more neighborhoody, right. But
yep.
Yeah. So I'm down here and doing my usual California run.
Complaining about how you hate travel again.
Oh well, yeah, you know. Well, no, I don't hate travel. I hate getting sick on travel, and I hate being away from home. But I also didn't like only being at home. So I'm very grateful for what I have, Dave. Yeah, you know. I'm a lucky SOB. I'm just saying. But I was lucky. I got to go. So the reason I'm out here, actually, or one of the reasons, is I got to go to the Analog Aficionados dinner, which I mentioned, I think, 2 episodes ago. And that was really, yeah. So that was fun. Do you know what that is or no?
Yes, of course I do.
Oh,
it's a bunch of old greybeards.
Yeah.
I don't know why they even let you in.
Well, yeah, exactly. And there was actually a couple people that were younger there. So younger, you know. Relative, of course.
Right. Yes.
But yeah, no, it was a good crowd. And, you know, like definitely like looking around, it's like, hey, these people have designed a bunch of the chips that I use. So that was pretty cool. The thing I didn't realize, though, is the whole reason it's always this time of year anyways is because there's the solid state circuit conference as well. That's just on the street.
Oh, right.
So that was the
Okay.
ISSCC. Right. I think it is.
So they all hang out there. But wouldn't they all be retired now?
A lot of them are, yeah. Yeah, a lot of them are just like they're just in the area. So yeah, it's a good group, and it's interesting kind of hear stories. And not all of them were like some of them are still working at companies. So like, yeah, you know, I was talking to people from Maxim and ADI and you know, just like all over the board. And it was just cool to kind of hear the good things and the bad things, and I won't repeat either here, but you know, you don't get that much, right? We talk about people, we talk to people sometimes on the show, but it's not like it's not the same as when you're like having a pint and, you know, just kind of shooting the breeze with someone. That's different things come out, you know.
Right.
So next time, hidden microphone. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that LTC, blah, 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 chip, that's a pile of shit, that is.
I made it, I know.
I don't know why anyone's stupid enough to buy that.
Yeah. So, yeah, no.
Management made me design it.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's weird, right? And it's also interesting just kind of the just people who are designing that kind of stuff, just the difference in what the focus is on, right? You probably talk to them about CAD software, like not CAD software like you and I use, but like CAD software like chip design software.
The ASIC
like Cadence, stuff like that. I'm sure that they have very strong opinions about it. But then you talk about like board level stuff, and it's just like, unless they're doing it as a hobby, it's less of a talking point. You know what I mean? It's more.
Well, I can imagine none of them ever having laid out a board.
No, I doubt that. I mean, just because.
Well, there'd be some of them out there who've probably never done it. They just go, no, what I do is I design silicon.
Oh, yeah, I mean, but you said none of them. I mean, I think some of them probably have.
Oh,
yeah.
well, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, no.
But I think, yeah, probably it's more in a outside context because, you know, unless you're an application, like an applications engineer, why would you need to do that board layout, I suppose, right? It's more about, or maybe if you're doing test engineering as well, you're setting up fixtures, something like that, but not like they usually have fixtures for that are like clamped in fixtures or stuff like, or on die fixture or on die testing. So yeah,
right.
And plus, you know, big companies too, like, you know, the design engineers usually aren't the ones that are doing the layout either. That's another thing. That kind of was true at places I've worked in the past too. It was just like, you have people that are really, really good at layout, and they're just doing layout all day long, and you just give them their stuff and work with them. So
the old throw it over the wall syndrome.
Yeah,
you know?
if you want to do that, you get to deal with the consequences for doing that, right? I mean, you used to do layout stuff like that, right? I mean, you were just layout only at one point.
Of course, I was yeah, absolutely.
What was the what was the worst thing that ever was thrown over at you? Was it just like, did you ever just like go and redesign something? You're like, well, this is shit, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah, you would get napkins,
really?
Thrown at you. Yeah, you would get napkin sketches.
Thinkers of big thoughts at the bar, kind of thing. Oh, that's funny.
And sometimes you would get people thinking that, okay, you're the layout guy, and they'd throw you the design as well. Oh, yeah, you've got to actually design it too.
Oh, really?
Like, well, yeah, I can do that, but don't you know I'm supposed to be the layout guy?
Yeah,
You know, and it's like, yeah, but that's what you do, right? When you lay out boards, you design something. No. That's not how it works. You know?
Let's just assume that I do that. What do you do then, sir, Mr. quote-unquote design engineer?
But hey, it's your lucky day. I can do design as well. And they roll their eyes and walk away.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes they don't have a clue.
Yeah. Well, it was. Yes. I mean, it was just cool. It was good to get. I mean, it's tough because like a lot of it's like, you know, these guys have all known each other for years too. So it's like kind of like me, the nerd in the corner.
It's a bit of a boys' club.
Well, not even the boys' club, but it was just like I was in the corner. I was, you know, I also had a booth for Parts.io, and it was just like me in the corner, just like, hey, come check out my.
You had a booth?
Yeah, I mean, we sponsored it. So
there was a booth.
Not a booth,
you
but
sponsored
we sponsored it, and we were, you know, giving away T-shirts and stuff. Just to, you know, T-shirts are fun. And
jeez, I thought this was just a get together at the pub.
Yeah, it's gotten a little bigger.
You guys have managed the shit out of it.
No, it's super casual still. It was like TI was there. They were giving away dev boards and like a bunch of like Linear Systems was. There was a bunch of authors there. No, it was great.
Next thing you know, it'll be taken over the McHenry Convention Center and it'll be, you know, over 5 days.
Maybe, yeah, that'd be a lot of drinking beer.
Unbelievable.
The nice thing was that like there was a bunch of authors there, like of books that I really like. So like Sergio Franco was there, and he writes one of the best op-amp books. I always forget the name of it, but it's like one of my favorite op-amp books, basically.
Right.
And so I get to meet him and like shake his hand and tell him I like this, you know, and he's like a former teacher and stuff like that. Which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah. Design with operation amplifiers, analog integrated circuits. It like that has the best, so like the best explanation of why open loop gain matters in a circuit. It's a little bit pricey though. It's $230. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, most of them
textbooks. But yeah, they're all that expensive. But yeah.
Speaking of which,
yeah. Go ahead.
We are almost entering the holy month
of the Chinese New Year's
when
over.
The Art of Electronics is going to be released.
Oh, really?
We are not worthy. Bow down. Bow down. Everyone pray.
Okay.
Yes, I will be getting the book this month.
Oh, you are? Oh, nice.
Oh, well, this month it's almost March, right? So let's just assume that we're in March.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm supposed to be getting it.
Well, that's exciting.
Yes. We've only waited like 25 years.
What if it's like a total letdown
or something? Yeah, right.
Everything's integrated now. Just go buy these chips, and it's just a list of parts.
all for all 1,600 pages of it. Yeah. Because I do believe it is 1,600 pages.
Wow.
And they've chopped out some stuff from the second edition.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah, probably like some of the micro stuff like that, right?
No, yeah, I don't know, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, but there's so much like classic stuff in there. It's still like, and people will still, hopefully, maybe people will be able to get the old stuff a little bit cheaper too. I mean, that's the thing. These textbooks are always just so expensive.
They are. But Win Hill personally recommends that you get a copy of the second edition as well as the third.
Oh, that's weird. The guy getting
because he said there is something.
or...
Yeah, the guy getting royalties from
Yeah.
it. But he said no, there is stuff in there that is not covered in the third edition.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
It's like it's not quite a separate.
Do you know if they're going to have a digital
it's-
edition? Did you hear anything about that?
No, I haven't heard anything about
Because that was always the big, like a lot of this stuff. Like, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of ebooks, but like that's one where it's like having a reference book like that. Like, I would pay the $60 or $80 or whatever non-paper version should be, and and just to have it just so it's searchable, right? Like that's nice.
Yeah, it's searchable. That's
Yeah.
right. Although the art of electronics is well known for having an awesome index. I mean, it's indexed.
Yeah, no,
Right up to
I
the
know,
hill,
but like still, I mean, like indexes don't cover
I know,
everything, right?
to search. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's exciting though. I mean, that's really nice. It's
Really nice. Dude, it's been 25 years in the coming. Get more excited.
I can't. I mean, I've only had it, so I haven't had it 25 years, right?
Oh.
I'm waiting for the fourth
youngsters.
edition, Dave. Come on.
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of good books out there. I get so pissed at textbook stuff. I don't know. I don't know if I should go on this rant now, but like my wife's in school right now, and she's at like a community college, but like all of these textbook makers now, because they know that people buy used textbooks, what they do now is they chop pieces out of different books and then they package them together as
What?
customs for the class, and then they change stuff, except they don't change the page numbers, and it's just like,
What?
Oh, it's the worst shit ever. It's
What to what end?
so like she'll get a bound she'll get a bound pack of paper that's supposed to go in a binder. It's not even like a bound book. It's just like a plastic wrapped
Right.
set of 3-hole
Yep.
punched paper.
Oh, right. 3-punch paper, yeah.
For $300, that's an amalgamation of, or combination, I suppose, of like 3 or 4 different books, like different chapters from each. And then if you buy it from one
Right.
semester to the next, it's the exact same general content, but different page numbers. Basically, like they change 1 or 2 things. I mean, they've been doing this for years with like editions, where they'll
Wow.
update 1 or 2 things. But like
Really?
now it's become more extreme. And maybe it's just my wife's school, but maybe I think it's probably more. And oh my god, and it's like we're paying $300 for this piece of crap that's going to fall apart because it's not a bound book either, right? It's
Right.
it's this thin,
Yeah,
this
it's just a
thin
ring
loose
binder
leaf,
thing,
right?
yeah.
And it's just like, I get that information is worth something, right? Obviously, I make my living on it, but like, come on, like especially because like it's
So that-
using content out of a book that hasn't been updated in 10 years and that cost maybe $60 when it first came out, and it's like, what is going up year after year? Paper is not getting more expensive; it's getting less expensive. And I think that the same thing happens for technical books too. Like this book, when I bought this Sergio Franco book I'm talking about for $80, and now it's $230.
Yep.
That's insane.
That's crazy. So this is the college getting rights to reproduce parts of the book and doing that and combining them all together
yep.
so that they can charge and make money.
Yeah, exactly.
that.
Because like,
Wow.
also because like that's with a lot of these schools, they're just looking for more revenue streams. They get kickbacks and stuff like that.
Of course. Yeah,
And it's
right.
just like, I understand the need to raise revenue, but
but
a lot of it's the schools.
could this be driven by the book companies?
Oh, that's the other
you
thing
think?
too, right? They keep having.
Is it driven by the
Yeah, no, that's the
publishers?
other thing too. They get a big cut of that too because they get their volume is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking as well, just because there's more
Right.
variety and there's ebooks now and stuff like that, and so they need to squeeze more money out of each customer. Again, these are business things, but that's
Yeah.
ridiculous, right? Especially because now
That is
now the
bad.
class is a
Yeah.
captive audience. And if you don't have the right book, when the page number is referenced by a teacher,
When they tell you, your homework is, go and read
exactly.
page 52,
Yep.
and like, yeah.
And the thing
Ouch.
is, sometimes they don't even update the.
That's
they don't
evil.
even they keep the section numbers, but they reference the wrong thing. Then I mean, it's just
Right.
So
Oh,
obviously, I'm not like the
Wow.
most bullish on standardized education in the first place. Like I think there are some things that are going really well in education these days, but that whole textbook thing is not one of them, right? Because why aren't textbooks super interactive, right? I mean, why aren't they all online? I mean, some of the stuff's online, but like why like with a design with operation amplifiers, right, or some some stuff in electronics, you should have simulations going along with it, and some of them do. Again, some of them do, but you should have like interactive environments there, and
totally
it just gets it grinds my gears. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's I share your anger at that. That is. And
the worst
ridiculous.
part about it is like we all know we're all thinking the same thing too, right? It's like we all know exactly what's going to happen. It's like if they keep jacking up the price more and more people will just go download the book from somewhere, right? It's not like it's hard to find these books.
Yeah, right.
And it's like I want a legal copy at a reasonable price. Like why?
Yep.
And if more people go do that, then they have to jack up the price even more because their volume goes down. It's just like this stupid. It's like they looked at the music industry and they're like, hey, let's make all of the exact same mistakes that they made.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the music industry has basically gone down the toilet. Artists don't make money on selling their actual music. They have to make money going on tour.
Right, yeah.
So now they're just endlessly on tour. It's just nobody's buying anymore.
I think there's still some stuff, but it's like
even with
marketplaces
iTunes,
and
there's
stuff
still
like
some
that.
stuff, but still, yeah.
There's definitely dilution.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. I mean, ultimately, the thing that really sucks for the future, right? This is the ultimate thing here, is like if the whole state of it gets crappier and crappier, right? Writing a textbook used to be a really important thing, and professors would do it, and like leading thinkers would do it because it would get their name out there, and they would make a little bit of money from it. But if it keeps getting worse, then they won't be able to pay them as much, and they won't be able to get as widely distributed, and just people will just stop writing those good books. They'll just write books that make money quickly,
Right.
And that sucks.
Got it.
So I'm worried, Dave. I'm worried.
I weep for the future.
Yeah, well, we grow more cantankerous together. Speaking of cantankerous, there's another site that someone sent me the other day that actually. So I think you and I had talked about this on the show at one point. How I said that I really wish that someone was interviewing these veterans of the industry, because like we never got a chance to have like Bob Peace or Jim Williams or Hans Kamen on the show, and it's like they're gone, they passed away, and that's really sad. And it was and I was always thinking that like StoryCorps, that was the thing I always thought about, like NPR does StoryCorps where you can kind of go record stories. And I didn't think anyone had ever done it. Okay. Turns out since 2006, they have been doing it. Actually, Stanford's been doing it. This thing called Silicon Genesis. And
nice.
Yeah, so it's an oral history. And basically, it's all of these really, really poorly recorded real media format videos.
Right.
But the stuff is all archived, so it is in beta format. So it's preserved somewhere, which is good, and then you can at least hear the audio though, and that's actually the really interesting stuff. And they have stuff for Europe, and they have stuff about Fairchild, and so it's awesome resource. And there's a lot of people on here, including Jim Williams, and
there's Bob Dodkin, Jim Williams. Yep,
I got to meet Bob actually. That was great.
All right. Yeah. Fairchild guys. Fagin from Fairchild.
I mean, that's the thing, and it's like all of these names where it's like a lot of them you just don't know the names, but then you look at what they're doing, and it's like, oh, holy crap, it's like once you get past the first couple employees, or like the very high, the ones that they really promote all of the fancy achievements from, like the inventor of the wide lower current source, right? Or, something like that. Like, but there are really important innovations that were like, also around the same time that may not have been named the same, but are also reused a bunch in circuits all over the place. And like, that's just cool, like that's really awesome. And it's really good that they're calling these people out. And, this guy, Stan Mazer, member of the Intel 4004 design team. Oh, awesome, right?
Exactly. Right.
So, yeah.
And guys you've never heard of, like the co-founder of NVIDIA, who invented the GPU.
Right, yeah, right.
Right, who the hell knew? Right?
You're welcome, Marvel, right? No.
Oh, man. Yeah. Wow, there's a lot on here.
Yeah, so
I'm still scrolling.
it'll take a while to go through
Holy
it, but like this, mostly like I saw this and like my first thing was like, oh, thank God, like I'm really glad that there are people doing this. Like this is a really awesome project, and so if anyone out there is listening from the Stanford Library, thank you. I think that
are they all video or are they some of them audio?
The other ones that I've clicked so far have been video. Some of them are really like it's like 320 by 240 video.
Yeah, I just really... actually played the Bob Dogkin one, and it's like really 320 by 200.
Yeah. But it doesn't. I mean, you're listening to them really. They're just talking. It's all talking head stuff anyway. So
I do wonder if they have it in a higher res.
Well, that's the
Betamax
thing, I think. Or not Betamax, but they said archival beta format copies. So. They have it on tape somewhere.
Right, tape.
Hey man, it'll hold up, right?
Oh yeah.
Actually, I was talking to a guy that he was actually he was really interested. Oh shoot, I forgot his name. But he said the IBM, one of the first IBM hard drives. I actually told him about your hard drive teardown, and he said there's some IBM hard drive that was like the first one that ever came out. And there's only 4 of them that still exist today. But basically, him and some of the guys that worked on it, they got together, many years later. They spun it back up like 50 years later, and it still had all of the data still on the platen. Is that the right term? Platen?
Magnetic fields, yeah. Platter.
Okay, platter.
Oh, platen. Platen, I think it is.
Okay, that's what I said.
With an M. Whatever,
No, and that guy was really... I mean, he's like, you just get a 3-phase motor and blah, 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 blah. It's this huge... like imagine the one that $250,000 one that you tore down. He's like, that
was modern compared to that.
That was super, super cheap and small compared to this one, so... Yeah, and apparently it's...
Of course they spun it up because the bit density, the magnetic bit density in there is... Like you could actually move the head over with your hand and still read the data, I think. It's that coarse. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think he said that the one that they got running again is the one that's at the Computer History Museum.
Right.
Oh, maybe this one. I looked up IBM hard drive. It was 1956. Yeah, that sounds right. 5 megabytes of storage. Oh my God, that's so good.
Back then,
the Ramac. This is it. Yeah, the 305 Ramac. That's the one. So yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure it was that one. I think.
Jeez.
Yeah. And you can like see it. It looks like a stack of LPs is what the platens look like. Going up. So unbelievable. So yeah, I mean that kind of cool stuff, right? You get to talk to these guys and they have cool weekend projects. They've been doing cool work.
Yes, you can't beat magnetic storage. It's hard to beat.
Yeah, I kind of asked him about that. I said, because you think about... I asked him, what's the future of magnetic hard drives? Are they ever going away? Because there's so much solid state these days. He's like, yeah, solid state's great, but you only get 10,000 write cycles. And hard drives, they haven't run out of room yet, so... in terms of smushing bits together more and more. So,
they're getting insanely. It's bleeding edge physics. It's not just the amount of stuff they do. I mean, we've had Vincent on here, right, who worked in hard drive.
Yeah,
stuff,
and Bob Davidson's. I think he did that stuff too.
Right.
I think he did that.
It's just it's insanely bleeding edge physics. I mean, it's just unbelievable. The technology they're coming up with to cram stuff on. 4 terabyte hard drives now for, a couple $100. It's crazy. And your data is going to
4 gigabyte hard drives
exist in a quantum state, It's is my data alive or dead? It's like a Schrodinger's hard drive. Yeah. They're getting down to that level. Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow. Yep.
So yeah, that's been my weekend with the aficionados.
Sweet. We don't have anything like that here.
No.
Nothing.
Yeah, you guys must have you have the old TV industry there, don't you? Don't you guys have a TV? I thought you had a TV industry at one point.
Oh, we did make TVs here. Yeah.
I thought design TVs though.
Yes, we did.
Surely someone has designed electronics in Australia at some point, Dave. Since I'm talking to you.
Right, yeah, we have. That's long gone, dude. That's long gone. No. I'm quite amazed at the amount of like hardware startup-y stuff though in Sydney at the moment, and co-working spaces. They're huge, you know. And not as much like hardware focused, but like I'm just man, it's just so many of them. There's this new co-working space that's just opened up. It's massive apparently, and do you hate quiet rooms? Go there to
join our working space.
And learn to pitch seminars and stuff like that. And
some of that stuff's like it's so institutionalized now, like the formulaic stuff.
I know,
It's like how effective can that really? Like, okay, I get it. Yeah, that it still works, but yeah, I don't know. It's
right.
The more I see of it, the less I like it. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I keep thinking, it's just like everyone's doing it. Everyone's getting startup money and doing a pitch, and it's just boring.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I'm sure if I had a great idea, I'd want millions of dollars, and I'll have to go pitch, but, couldn't be bothered.
Yeah. Well, there are some startups that are doing interesting things. This new Spark Electrons, you see that thing?
They're getting, they want to, no, sorry, I'm thinking of the fab, the ASIC one.
Oh. Later, Dave. Come on, man.
That's not them. No, I know. Jumping ahead of the show.
Yeah. No, this is a new module. So Spark is the ones who do. They have like a CC 2500. Is that right? Whatever the Wi-Fi module is from TI on board.
Right.
On their old product with like then a micro that is already talking to it, and then you can basically interface to that thing. And now basically they're doing the same thing, but with cell connectivity or mobile connectivity.
Cellular, yep.
And so you can get 3G.
But I thought everyone was still doing... Everyone's doing cellular
They are.
modules and stuff like that.
No, you're right. They are.
But this one's super easy, right?
Well, no, there is that. And then actually, I've tried the Spark thing before, and it is easy to get started. That's nice. Especially like the little mobile app, just kind of toggle things on and off.
Yep.
But no, actually, the interesting thing is, I the hardware is the hardware, right? That's interesting, but probably the interesting stuff of that is on the module, right?
Yep. But what they're doing is a cloud service.
No, well,
they are.
Yeah, sorry. So it's actually
it's their cloud service.
It's the buying of the data, right? So usually you have to sign up for prepaid. You have to have some kind of contract, stuff like that. So basically, they're going to be acting as the service,
as the actual carrier.
Yeah,
they're going to be acting
NVMO.
as the carrier. See, that's I don't know what that stands for. I don't. What's an MVNO?
I had it before. It's gone.
Yeah, so I've never heard that acronym before. But here in Australia, instead of going and buying a SIM card from Telstra or Optus, or anyone, right? Yeah, you use them.
Right,
now,
except
you can't use it. US only?
You can't use it yet. They're Europe,
because it's
Canada, and US right now, just because that's who they've cut deals with.
Yeah.
I mean, would you want to talk to Telstra? Telstra?
No, exactly. Just like Amazon did their own, right? Amazon.
They did.
Well, they actually use the carrier, right? So they, if you buy an Amazon Kindle here, right, that has the 3G thing built in, it's actually talking to Telstra. Right, or the local carrier here. It's not like Amazon go out and install their own cell towers. Right. So they do a deal, but it's you never have to realize it's actually Telstra that's working on the back end.
Yeah, the packets get routed through them.
They become the carrier. Yeah. Amazon become the carrier, and they're the ones who. Yeah,
Telstra becomes the hardware people, right?
Yeah, the actual RF service, right? They're the carrier.
Yeah.
But, Telstra is... Amazon are the service provider.
Mobile virtual network operator. So, yeah, basically that. They're buying chunks of time from someone and then handle all the other stuff. So, I think that's interesting, actually. I mean, this is, and they give some good examples, too, like talking about, like, monitoring stuff in the field. So, when Dave and Bob were back on... when they were on, when you weren't able to make it that one week, Bob Davidson was talking about his, I think it was like a monitoring in a vineyard, right? And so like, how do you do that unless you set up like huge mesh network and stuff like that and bounce signals around? Cell towers kind of are a mesh network, not really a mesh network, I suppose, but but basically it's connectivity,
it's similar
it's connectivity out in the open without needing all of the other infrastructure there. So it makes sense. So we'll see what it looks like. I mean, $3 for a megabyte's kind of a lot, but
these things you're usually not sending much data, right? So
actually,
you're sending bytes.
Yeah, I mean, another interesting example from a past guest too is when Larry Sears was on. This is basically what Hexagram was doing. He's the one he's in Cleveland, and he was the one who one of two who's recorded from my basement. David Martin.
Right.
But that's basically what his product was. It was like you put it on your gas meter, and then that was just using a plain radio. It was, I think it might have been encrypted, but it was bouncing signals basically. And it was before the cell towers even really existed. And then they'd have like these access points. Right. And basically this is kind of that, but now more standardized and available to everyone. So, interesting.
Got it. All right. Anyway, they got $4.9 million to make an OS for the Internet of Things. Oh, it's just of course they got the money for it,
With words like these, how do we fail?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, good luck to them.
Yeah, definitely.
Do they actually have a product at the moment, or they just got...
Well, they have the Spark Core, and then the Spark Photon was the other one.
Yeah, well, they Spark Core, yeah.
And then the Photon was the other one, and now this is the Electron, so... I don't remember what the Photon was.
Right.
We should bring up the other one because it also has a tie into the past guest as well. So, did you see the Pebble?
I have ordered one.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. I hate smartwatches, but I thought, I'll get it. I'll at least have one so I can talk about it. Right. So, yes, I ordered the new Pebble smartwatch. Yeah. And it had some hacker interfaces, some I/O hacker interface as well. So, I don't know. I might be able to use it for something. But as an everyday watch, it's like, you've got to charge it every 7 days. What's that bullshit? Anyway, that's better than most smartwatches.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So Andrew Whitty, who was on the show in the past as well, he's I think he's still there. Ooh, I should probably check that.
Right.
Pebble, though. And so he talked to us about some of the tech and stuff like that. And so it's interesting. I mean, the color screen.
They've got a color screen and, extra wank. That sort of stuff.
Is it? I don't know. Like, I don't wear watches, so I don't really have any real opinion on this stuff. All
right.
But I think
I need a watch to tell the time.
Right.
And, to be used as a stopwatch and and a time, and the date. Tell me the date. And, that's pretty, and have a timer.
An occasional nerdy calculator. No.
Oh, yeah, that'd come in handy.
Yeah.
But apart from that, no, piss off. I don't want to be alerted when somebody messages me on my phone.
So why did you buy one then? I don't want my
watch to vibrate. I don't know.
Disposable income.
That's sucked in. Sucked in. Anyway, they've raised like $5 million in the first day, and now it's like the second or third day they're up to $10 million.
Oh, really?
So,
wow.
Yep. Yep. There you go.
Well, someone had so we had talked about the display a little bit, and I knew that it wasn't a true e-ink display.
I thought it was.
No, for the original one, it wasn't. I remember it wasn't an e-ink display. Or I remember Andrew telling us that at least.
Right.
But basically, so I think this is the next version of that, and someone linked us on Reddit. It was Kratts9 on Reddit. Linked us over to this possible one. It is the Japan Display Incorporated memory in pixel reflective. I don't know, but basically watching the video, it was interesting because like the update rate was pretty fast for thinking about e-ink is usually like really slow. So that's why.
Although this hasn't got many, this isn't like a Kindle with a huge res. It's 128 by 128 pixels or something.
Yeah, okay.
It isn't like it has to update some full huge 9-inch screen or something.
True, yeah. Scan across and
anyway,
flip all those little.
But still only 7 days battery life. Yawn. Unbelievable.
Power's
Who wants
hard,
to
man.
charge their watch?
Power's hard.
I can't. Yeah, I know. And people are saying, it must chew a lot of power if it only gets 7 days. Well, no, I think somebody did the math on Twitter or something, and it's like it's drawing 600 microamps or something, which isn't much, but you can only fit a tiny battery.
Right, well, that's the problem.
It's not like you can...
Once you get a flexible battery that you don't mind wrapping all the way around your wrist, then maybe you'll get more.
Yep.
Yeah, batteries keep screwing us.
Goodness.
It's just...
Yep.
Help us, Tony Stark. You're our only hope. Or, alternate. We're the same technology that the Swiss have been talking about for many years and would be in good shape.
What technology are the Swiss talking about?
They're called gears. You wind up a watch and it runs.
Oh, right. Okay, right. Yeah. And it's self-winds.
I know. Yeah, those are nice.
Free energy.
That's right. We can make millions.
Perpetual motion. Yes. Oh, dear, oh, dear.
So that's your week in Kickstarter, I suppose.
Right.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, I got sucked in. So I'll see if they deliver. I think May or something we're supposed to get it. Anyway, I didn't get the early backers. They sold out in like 10 minutes or something.
Oh, really?
So I've got the So I'm in the next. The first batch was only 10,000 units, and I missed out on
really?
that. So
Jesus.
I had to get the next 30,000.
Oh man!
Oh, there's one left. There's one left in the second batch of 30,000 as of.
Bye now, folks.
And if I refresh,
Billy Mays here.
And it was funny, right? I was sitting there, like waiting to ordering, and the page was just ticking up. Like I'm sitting here now, 45,781. It'll tick over it's slow, but I was sitting there watching it and it was ticking over. This is the number of backers, and it was just refreshing and it was just ticking.
It's insane.
Unbelievable. They were selling like, 3 a second or something. Just madness. There we go. 45,782 backers. There you go. It's just increasing. It's go slow at the moment. It must be sleep time in the US.
It's getting there. Yeah, it's like 9 p.m.
Land of the disposable Kickstarter income.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
Right. People will throw money at anything. It's incredible.
Indeed. Like buying a 2400
I need to.
And having it to tear down. Yeah?
Oh, right. Yeah, I got it as part of my big auction score. Yeah, so what? Keithley 2500.
I didn't realize that was part of your auction score.
Yeah, it was a big score. I got it as part of... Yeah, I got like 10 items or something. That was one of them.
Nice. Yep. Well, I liked it.
They rarely come up around here.
I like... I don't know. Anything you want to talk about with the 2400 or no? They're like my favorite piece of test equipment.
You were just telling me that I've got the old one. You were going, you've got the old one, because they had changed the CPU in it apparently, right?
Yeah, just small changes, stuff like that. So.
Right. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
And that was one of your jobs at Keithley, wasn't it? You were an component obsolescence engineer,
I was not.
Weren't you?
Damn it, Dave.
I love that title.
That's not what I was. Okay.
Close to it, though.
Close to it, yeah. Some things that were, but yeah, a little bit more in depth than that. Damn it, Dave.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a cool piece of gear. I mean, it has the AB stage output, and I think you drew that right at some point from the manual.
Oh no, I got it from the service. manual.
Yeah. I mean, like
they had a very crude output circuit.
Yeah.
So I just printed that out and talked about it briefly.
Yeah. Yeah, they still have the service manual though too. You don't get that many times these days either. Yeah,
but it hasn't got the schematic.
No, that's true. Yeah, it has the bomb.
So it's just
with
Oh yeah, it does the bomb and tells you how to calibrate it. And
Keithley part numbers though.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Why would you do a bomb? Why would you include the bomb if you're not going to include the schematic? What's the reasoning behind that?
Maybe if you see something that's charred and you call support and you're like, it looks like U18, which is IC576.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
I did notice I had one of the components wrong. It said the main ADC ASIC is U610 or something. No, it was U609. Wah! Wrong.
Flame them quickly.
Now they're buying Keith Lee again. Can't even get it right.
Seriously.
They can't even get their 200-page service manual right.
Nothing good comes out of Cleveland.
No.
Yeah.
Somebody asked on my comments on YouTube, so in plain English, please, what does an SMU do?
The main thing is like the thing that's like the easiest thing, but it's probably the easiest thing to illustrate is like, it's not just this, but like imagine a programmable current source. Like most people don't have that. I mean, I know that some people do, right? Like there's current loads and stuff like that, or dummy loads and stuff. But like having it over a wide range and high precision, and then being able to measure the voltage. So if you want to program 10 milliamps through an LED, and then also simultaneously see how much voltage is across that LED, and then you want to step the different currents, and then you could start tracing a curve. It gets really useful really quickly. So, but it is tough to visualize at first. But once you have one, you never go back.
Right. Well, they're mostly for the reason people don't have one, they're not a general purpose tool, is because they're mostly used by the semiconductor vendors for semiconductor diode, to actually get the characteristic curve of your diode, your lead, your transistor, etc.
Right. Yeah, you put two of these together, and you can put one on gate to source on a FET and one drain to source, and step one value, and then run current for the other, and get your MOSFET curves basically. So that's. And that's what the even higher end equipment does. They do it on the wafer and stuff like that too. So that's how they make data sheet. And this is how a data sheet is made. When an engineer loves a silicon very much, get some test equipment.
But so that's why you don't see them in your general purpose lab. I mean, you know.
Yeah, they're expensive as crap too. So, well, that's fun though.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't help.
That's cool, man.
See, average Joe Blogs isn't going to have a need for one. They're just nice to have around, if you want to have and use it as a precision current source, that's handy.
Yeah, right.
So, I need to feed 10 milliamps through my lead to see how bright it is. I'll use my $5,000 shmoo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do the other direction too, like doing like syncing current as well, and just programmable sync currents, and just having that in all directions is nice.
Because there are four quadrant devices, they sync as well as source.
Right. You can. Source voltage, sync current. You can sync. Blah blah blah. All of those different combinations. So, it's it can be cool.
Yes. If people want to know the difference, your regular power supply is a single quadrant device, i.e., it can only source current. It can't sync it.
Well, you can
because it's got an output pass transistor.
You can do two quadrant if you have a negative rail, right?
Oh, you can do two quadrant if you have a negative rail, yes. But I'm just talking about your regular, 0 to 30 volt power
3 amp standard cheapo supply. Yep.
Because if you have a look at the circuit, it's got an output pass transistor. Current can go out the supply, but it can't go back in.
And they actually put diodes there to make sure it doesn't.
To make sure it doesn't. Yeah, exactly. Because that's a naughty thing to have. And why is that important? Well, I'm glad you asked.
Pull up a chair, boys and girls.
If you've got, a common thing for a power supply, right, is to replace the battery in your widget, right, which you're trying to design, right, if it's power from a battery. Yeah. Then, you might typically, power it from a bench power supply when you're doing, debugging and all that sort of stuff. Well, it's not quite the same as a battery, because a battery is a two-quadrant device as well. It can sync current. You can charge batteries, even batteries that are not designed to be charged. You can sync current back into them.
If you charge them hard enough, they make a light show for you.
Right. So batteries have that dynamic characteristic of being able to absorb charge back into them. So if you've got a complex load that's kicking energy back into the battery,
right? Say you're putting a battery through a inductor, and then you snap the connection off, and it spikes up.
You snap it off.
Yep, it can go in the other direction.
That's right. The battery can absorb that back. But if you power it from a regular one single quadrant bench power supply, which 99% of them are, I almost guarantee the power supply you've got in your lab is just a single quadrant one. And it can't, so it doesn't simulate that battery. You might think, oh yeah, the power supply, it's got a low output impedance, right? It's simulating the battery perfectly. No, it's not. Yep. So, yeah, and in some applications that can matter. As you said, if you've got a big inductor there, like you've got a big mechanical switch to turn off your product, well, that can be a big deal. Yeah. So your power supply may not perform exactly the same as a battery. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's actually the you saying the power supply thing too. That's another one that I liked a lot, where it's I'd have maybe a 20-volt output. I was like powering the rails to an op amp or something that was a little bit risky,
right?
And I could just dial in the exact current limit. So 10 milliamps, 100 milliamps, whatever. And it's like, as soon as I short something out by accident, the current limit snaps on and it catches it, and it's very programmed, and I know exactly where it's going to stop. And that's another nice thing. It's idiot proofing, basically.
Totally. And then setting over voltage limits as well is another. If you've got we talked about this before. If you've got a $100,000 board you've just made and it's a one-off, and you're powering it for your bench supply, you don't accidentally want to punch a button in that puts 30 volts on the 5-volt rail. That can kind of ruin your career.
Or at least your day, maybe your weekend.
Right.
Have you had a $100,000 board before? It sounds like you've.
I've worked on boards that are worth $100,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy crap!
And powered them up for bench supply. Yeah, these are one-offs. These are one-off military boards, and we've spent 2 years developing the damn thing. And these are the ones where if you enter the lab without a lab coat and you don't wear your anti-static wrist strap, they will fire you instantly. Whoa. It doesn't matter who you are. Because this board is a one-off. It can ruin, a $40 million contract, right? If you blow up this board. Right, because to make another one, the entire project is 6 months, is set back 6 months or something, right? And it's a big deal.
That's bonkers.
So you'll have it, I can remember you'd have 4 guys all standing around going, right, we're going to power up this board, right? Check it. Double check it. Triple check it.
Switch this time?
Quadruple check it. Who wants to flip the switch? It's like, have we set our over voltage limit? Have we set our over current limit?
I need you to flip it. I can't do it, Tony. I just bought a new car. I need this job.
Or then, even we'd spend like a whole day thinking about and analysing, like as a group, if put in the current limit, like sometimes real expensive board, you want to start it up at a lower current limit than what it's designed to take, right? Just in case. So you want to ramp up that voltage slowly. Well, ramping up voltages slowly can actually kill a board. Right. Can actually kill a circuit, right? If it ramps up too slowly. So
it's like sitting in a linear region somewhere, and it's like burning up,
and it latch up and. Yep, exactly. So we'll spend ages analysing the board. Right? Can we power it? Should we power it up fast, or should we power it up slow?
Did anyone think to just make 2?
Right. Why build 1 when you can build 2 for twice the price? The old one. If you haven't watched Carl Sagan's Contact, then watch it. Why build 2 $1 billion $1 trillion products when you can build 2 for twice the price for $2 trillion? Anyway, yep. If you haven't watched Contact, you won't get it. Yeah. Oh dear, love it.
Well, that's crazy though. That
so anyway,
I can't believe that. $100,000 boards. That's got to be pretty. Yep. And I wonder too. Hardware is getting cheaper. Not in all sectors. Obviously, military still has expensive stuff. Some space sectors. But it seems like that would be less often than before. Maybe not. I don't know, because it's just a one-off. The board cost is probably that $100,000 was probably a big chunk of board, but also a big chunk of really expensive parts too. So I don't know. I wonder about if there are as many of those crazy expensive boards still out there.
No, I'm sure there are.
We'd love to hear from people if they're allowed to say. Obviously,
speaking about crazy boards that have weird military
Oh yeah,
shit on them.
and the old guy stuff we were talking about before too.
Yeah, and it all rolls into one with this project, which move over the Arduino. Here comes the Cosmac Elf.
Cosmac Elf.
Dear. Anyway, normally we thought, we wouldn't mention this, right? But there are several reasons. Like, it does tie in, right? It's basically a little... Okay, yes, you be the judge. It fits. Does it fit into one of these Altoid tin
That's what it looks
things?
like, yeah.
Is that the... Right, one of those... I have no idea what an Altoid
Which never made
tin
sense
is,
to
but it
me
looks like
personally,
one.
because it's like, if you have any...
No,
it's just like metal. It's like...
I don't get it. I know, I don't...
Everything is going to short
It's the
out
dumbest-
if you
yeah.
catch something wrong.
Yeah, no.
Anyway,
I don't... Yeah, I never got the Altoid tin project craze. I never understood, why. You can buy a project box out there for $1.
Yep.
Like, what the freak? Like, give me a break. Anyway, it's like, but, it's being resourceful. Well, you weren't resourceful when you built that bloody thing and got your custom PCB made from Osh Park, and, you weren't very resourcul then, were you?
Yeah,
no.
right. You're not repurposing old,
it's like,
old circuit boards from your television,
no.
are you?
yeah, that's right. Using, making your own crystals and, filing down and, a bit of germanium and, like...
Kids these days, huh, Dave? Let's keep this cantankerousness going.
Anyway, so this thing is like, move over the Arduino. We're bringing back the 1976 RCA CDP 1802. And all of our younger audience under 50 are going, what the frig is that?
I had no idea.
That's right. Anyway, it's an ancient processor. The reason I thought it was interesting is because apparently Intercell, it used to be an RCA device, Intercell still make it.
Yep.
Apparently.
Yep.
They still make the 1802. This is unbelievable. This is like Intel still making the 4004.
Wait, are they?
Or the 8008. Right, well, I don't think so, are they?
No.
I don't think
I'll
you can
check
still
Parts
buy it.
IO.
I don't think you can.
Sorry.
Gets the plug in there. And, but apparently Intercell still make a military spec, of course, because the only people stupid enough to still use this processor, apart from the person who's doing this project, right, is the military aerospace. You can still buy it. It's still on their website, the CDP 1802.
Yeah.
8-bit CMOS processor. And they'll still sell it to you for $120 a pop, and that's in volume.
No,
of
I
course.
found it for
you
less.
have to, like,
I found it
special
for
order
less,
it.
but it's all listed as
But
obsolete.
not brand new, right? It's surplus.
No, it's not surplus.
Right?
It's just. Well, I don't think it is.
No, I think it's surplus. I think
maybe.
nobody's going to hold stock of this thing, dude. No, it's surplus. Trust me.
Yeah, that's probably true. Huh?
But anyway, they will sell you in a traditional 40-pin dual-in-line side-brazed ceramic package. Yes. They'll still sell you the CDP 1802A.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable. From 1976. It's on their website. Wow.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm just stunned. Anyway, so
looking at spec sheet, it's like it's 8-bit, 3.2 megahertz, which I mean is kind of in line with like a 6502, right? Isn't it?
Oh, that's scorching.
It's like 2 megahertz.
No, a 6502 was originally 1 megahertz.
Okay. Oh, I've used a 6809, which was running at 2 or 4 megahertz, I think. Yeah.
Right.
So this is
Anyway.
like high end, right?
Oh yeah, this is screaming back in the day. The RCA, and
just think of all the.
And you used to be able to buy like a training board for it. It was like an engineer's training board or something. Anyway, so they're bringing back this thing where there's there's like 12 toggle switches on the front of this board and 12, and eight LEDs, and you can actually latch in words, right? You can latch in bytes into this thing, and just like the old school,
Hey kids, do you like switches?
The old school PCs. Yeah.
Do you like entering instructions one switch at a time? Sorry.
And the shitty thing about having it in Altoids, Tim, where you flip, I bet you cannot sit this thing on a desk and flip these switches. I bet you $1 million. You got to hold it down. It'll just move
because of the
across
weighting?
the bloody desk. The switches need 200 newton meters of force a pop, to flick these bloody bastards over, right? And
Yeah, and I don't think you can't close the lid either. I think it's just the bottom of an Altoid stent.
Yeah, no, it's just it sits in the bottom. Anyway, it's just hilarious. So I'm not sure.
And so what Dave and I were talking about though is just like the value. Is there value in doing this kind of thing? Like, is it in learning instruction sets like this? Maybe, I don't know. What do you think, Dave?
No. I
Not
think
like this.
It's going a bit far. No, it's just retro. There's no learning value. Well, you could argue there kind of is if you want to, physically flip. I can remember doing that. Physically flipping individual, bytes into the processor and watching it, move over to, the different registers and things like that. But it's just
I guess from understanding registers, that's important, right? Like understanding that there is still,
I guess, how it moves over
there's
from
still
one
transistors
register to
in
the next,
there,
but
and they're still shifting through and stuff like that. Yeah.
And this is how CPUs still work today. Data moves from one register to the next, and through the pipeline. But now they're heavily, multi-pipeline and all that whiz-bang jazz.
Right. Yeah, I mean, looking at...
And I don't know, is there value in it? No, not really.
Dave puts the kibosh on it.
Even old school Dave, like...
Well, I mean, like, but you can move a step up. So, like, this is like a step below doing, like, assembly programming, right? I mean, this is similar instruction set level, but it's just not using a keyboard, right?
That's right. No, it's...
old keyboards.
If you're gonna do this, right? If you're going to do this, go the whole hog, where you've got a whole panel that simulates the processor, and instead of just having 8 LEDs, you have 8 LEDs on every register, so it like pulls out every register, so you can actually watch the data flipping from one register to the next and transferring. We used to have these. Back in the day, we used to have these trainers, these CPU trainers, right? And that's what they would do. They would simulate. And show you. You can actually see the data flipping between the A and the B register, and transferring over and stuff like that. Because they'd extract that. But here, you've only got the 8 LEDs. Boom.
So you think this is more for people that are nostalgic about this kind of thing, anyways?
It's totally nostalgia.
And then for that, it seems like it seems nice. I mean, like it seems like a cool little processor.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. There's a niche market. I'm sure. They'll sell 100 of them or something.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, all right. It's cool, right?
All right.
Anyway, you can buy the kit, $79. We'll link it in down below. Make up your own mind.
Right, of course.
Yep. For an extra $10, you can get the cover.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. They also sell a short form bare bones kit. You can just buy the blank boards. If you want to source your own CPU on eBay,
right.
You go, I can get one cheap. I've got one of those lying in my parts bin. Yeah, I got an 1802. No worries.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing too. Like, I mean, it's just crazy because there is so much history now, and just so much it's getting, obviously over the years it keeps getting harder and harder to get these vintage parts and stuff like that. But there are communities that are interested in this, right? There's vintage computer clubs, stuff like that, and then just like seeing that technology expand in terms of like what's available to people now, all the way up, right? I mean, like hobbyists can route DDR3 signals, right? And you can buy like what's this new there's like two new, so there was these two new parts that just got released, the Blue Gecko, and that's like that Gecko microcontroller with a Bluetooth radio on it, and then there's another TI CC 2650, which is now like a generic 2.4 gig.
Crazy.
It's just like this stuff isn't it's like $5, right? I mean, like, well,
right.
I don't actually know how much that one is, but like, roughly. Oh no, this one says, so the new TI part is $3.80 in 1,000 units. So probably $7-8 for one of them. It's just like that's crazy. Like.
Yep.
So it's
madness.
It's a weird spread that we have, and I think it's just about. Ultimately, I think that I was talking to someone about this today. When you're starting out, you need to start at the highest level and then, kind of go top down. You really need to for no other reason. It's not that it's not important to learn the low level stuff, but the important thing is actually just that you get some quick feedback so that you don't get discouraged when you get to the low level stuff and you realize how shitty it is.
Yep.
Because it's gonna be, right? I mean, like, that's just
I know it sucks.
To be honest, this was feedback I got on getting to Blinky, where he's like, yeah, there's too many steps.
Right, yeah. That's right. I just want to blink
yeah,
lead,
exactly.
damn
I
it.
mean, he was totally on point, It's just like,
Yep.
It's tough when there's so many options for other things these days, and you're fighting for attention. And we could say, well, people should just grin and bear it, and only the strong survive, and blah 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 blah. And yeah, we could say that,
Right.
but realistically, that's not going to work in the long term because there's a lot of stuff that needs to get done, and people need to learn this stuff. So, and
Exactly.
even if everyone in the world buys a module and integrates a module using it just at the software layer, there's still someone that's designing the silicon. There's still someone that's designing the application circuit. There's still someone that's designing the board that has the application circuit on it. Like, there's all these different levels that someone's still got to do it. And I don't think that even with the, only the strong survive method, I don't think that actually works. So yeah.
Oh, goodness.
But if people are looking for the
Our
strong
time's
to
up.
survive, of course, they could sign up for Contextual Electronics. There we go. Nice little plug in there right at the end.
Nice plug. Well done.
Yeah.
And I'd like to plug, I don't know, nothing. I like do a video blog and shit. You can watch it if you're not. I don't give a toss.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. I sell microcurrents, but I don't advertise them.
Yeah,
so I
he's
don't
never
give a
has them in
toss
stock.
if you
So.
buy one or not. Yeah, I don't have them in stock, so who cares? You're not going to get one anyway. So,
Maybe someday. You got. You might have an assistant starting soon. Is that right?
Yes. The new employee is. Well, he's already had a day here where we just, I don't know,
Shot the
just
breeze.
shot
Yep.
the breeze and set up things and did a few things.
Did you guys make a decision yet?
Should be started, I think.
Decision? KiCad? Yes? No? Yes? No?
Oh, no, we'll probably still use Altium because he's an Altium guy.
Oh, which is why you probably picked him in the first place.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Had nothing to do with it. No. Nope.
Well, cool. Darn. Oh, well. Lost another one, folks.
Well, I was kind of hoping that, somebody would, I was kind of hoping that they'd be like a KiCad person, so then, okay, that's the decision made, look, let's just force a move to KiCad,
Yeah. Well.
But no, he's an Altium guy, so I don't know.
You should just force him to be like, I'm your employer now, man. So,
right.
Sorry. It's been real.
Anyway, we'll see. Altium still haven't released their low-cost version. It's just bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, actually, we should mention that, too. There is a review of the mid-cost version, Circuit Studio.
Yes, which I was very surprised because I thought they hadn't actually released it yet. Maybe I'm just behind the times.
I think this might be an invalid copy, but it's Robert Fedivel who does a course on Altium.
Right.
So
anyway,
yeah, it's great.
Yep,
check that out.
We'll link it in.
Definitely. All right, man. Well, I should go. Be in California more. I'm going to go outside and enjoy the weather that does not exist in Cleveland.
Right. Apparently, I've had complaints that my microcurrents aren't getting to some people in the US, and I phoned up Australia Post yesterday. I had to actually talk to a real human to actually try and get to the bottom of this because their online reporting systems failed. So, Australia Post sucks ass. And they were telling me, a lot of the places, JFK Airport is backlogged and, with all mail and everything, everyone's snowed in everywhere. And, apparently it's a, huge deal.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So
So
sorry for those who haven't got it yet, but it's not my fault.
It's Mother Nature. It's Cleveland's fault.
Oh boy.
All right, man. Cool. Well, we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.